Thank you for joining the Quintessential Gentleman. I'm Justin D. Jenkins, the managing editor, and I am here with the cultural innovator himself, Travis Weeks. He's the co-founder of Driven Society, a full-service marketing agency that represents ideas steeped in culture and community. Travis, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Blessed to be here, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this. I'm excited to speak with you. A year into this pandemic, how are you feeling? Are you feeling optimistic? Are you just pushing through?
Yeah, I'm feeling very optimistic. The pandemic definitely came with its unbelievable challenges, unprecedented time for sure. And God bless everybody who lost someone and all the loved ones that were lost out there. But I do feel like there's a turn in the tide and things are improving, and just the overall frequency is just growing better and becoming more positive. And I can see the world. I feel it. Like I was telling my friends, like I feel the world getting back to its point where it's ready to open up. It's still going to take some time, but it's happening. Like I literally feel the currency, shifting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a great thing. It does feel like we're in the home stretch if we just play it safe. So I'm excited to get back to a new normal because I don't think we're going to go back to the old normal.
Right.
Right. So I know growing up in Brooklyn and you spent time in Barbados, uh, you were able to be exposed to a lot. How has that shaped who you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Jersey too. Grew up a large part of my coming up in Jersey. Uh, Man, I mean, well, Barbados and New York, just special places, locations for me. They just have a certain level of significance. I learned my chops in Jersey. I learned how to deal with people and how to manage myself in Jersey. But Barbados and New York just has a special significance. I'll start with Brooklyn. Brooklyn being, it's Brooklyn, right? It's home of the best rappers. You can't help but be inspired by the Jay-Z's and the Biggies and everybody in, New York, essentially, right? And just the lights. Like I've always been inspired by New York City. Like I love this city. I'm a Northeast kid,
Yeah.
and I've always been inspired, been driven to accomplish things and to create things here and to build things here, because they say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, right? And in my come up days, I was everywhere, trying, doing everything, just because the city just served as that source of inspiration for me to just keep going. Whenever I fell down, whenever I failed, or whenever I got my L's, the city was always that pocket of inspiration to continue to keep going. And then you get to meet all these beautiful, dynamic people that align just like that are, have your same mindset or mentality when it comes to the grind, or to your drive, or to how you want to create and leave a legacy. So that's the beautiful part about Brooklyn, New York City. Barbados, being an island boy too, just living there 3 years, and not, growing up with a heavy father presence in my life. My grandfather served that in my life. And I always try to speak to him. He's the one who, like, just facilitated my relationship with God. He was very present in my life, and he just was everything. My grandfather was a preacher, a plumber, a barber. He did everything, right? Some things more better than others, but that man was, just a masculine man who took care of his family, who wanted to provide, who wanted to, help people in the community. Like I've seen him help so many people without asking for anything in return. That's just how big his heart was. And I think that's what gave me my leadership skills. That's what gave me the audacity to want to be a community builder, and to give back to people, and to enrich people and inform and educate people, because he did that through his ministry. His ministry was the word of God. My ministry was building events and experiences and platforms where people can connect, engage, share ideas, and level up to get to the next level, the next plateau.
Right. Yeah, it's awesome to hear. I had that special relationship with my grandfather as well. So, you know, it's a great thing to have. So basically his leadership kind of affected how you do business. Can you give us like an example or two of just that leadership and being in awe of it?
Man, that's a great question. I mean, when you're doing something creative, like when you have a creative conceptual type of company, right? Like when I started my company, there was like not many things I could really compare it to. There was a few companies, agencies out there that I gave so much respect and stayed as an inspiration, but there was not many things that I could draw from to like, okay, that person did it, let me follow that steps. You know what I mean? It was literally, oh, I have this saying that says visionaries have no blueprints. You know what I mean? Like I literally was making my own blueprint, creating my own, path in the sand, my own footprints in the sand. And that's what I saw him did, he was very creative on how he preached on, or how he helped his community. And he did a lot of things for free. Now that sounds crazy as a business. What do you mean doing things for free? But I developed the really idea of like creating a proof of concept, right? When you want to come up, you have to say yes to everything. So you can develop the experience, develop the portfolio, sharpen your skill set, provide more value than what you even get compensated for. I think sometimes that's missed in this generation, or even generations coming behind us. Not every opportunity comes with a check. You just got to you got to have the vision, And he was a visionary, and that same quality and gift came to me, where I'm a visionary first. You know what I mean? I would say, I'm a chief visionary officer, and then I'm able to create the team and engage with the right people to bring that vision to life. And I think that's the truest just quality attribute that I was able to take from him and carry into my company, my business.
Right. That's awesome. Chief Visionary Officer. I think that should be a title for, in all
Right.
type of corporations and entrepreneurship. Now, Driven Society started as a blog because of your love for music. Um, can you take me through that journey of how you go from hobby to an established business and blog to this big marketing agency?
Yeah. Man, it's a crazy journey. It's some stuff that what's so crazy, bro? Especially right now. There's sometimes like I have all my photos. Sometimes I look at all the stuff I used to do and I'll be like, wow, like I'll get exhausted just looking at it, because it's like it went
Uh-oh, we lost you, Travis. Oh no. Hello,
I
hello.
lost. You got
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I think that was me. I apologize.
So I'm
I
gonna repeat the question. Hopefully we can edit that though. All right. So basically, Driven Society started as a blog because of your love for music. Take me through that journey of how you went from hobby to established business.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was just saying that, I'll look at some of my old photos and I'll be like, wow, look at all the things we did, all the pivots and shifts and changes. But yeah, that journey being a blog, so my Driven Society in a sense was my second act, right? I actually was into real estate and mortgages. I was a mortgage broker
Okay.
and a loan processor for a few years before Driven Society started. My first dream vision was to be in real estate, but that didn't fill a void, right? So when Driven Society was born, um, it came off the aspect was I was really heavily into music at the time, and I wanted to highlight some of these emerging artists, creatives that I was seeing in New York City, in the tri-state area, in Jersey, and I'm like, I want to give them a platform. I want to just have them uh, be represented, or give them love in a digital presence. This is when the rise of the digital blogs was coming up, and I wanted to create our own based off me and my team's ear and love and curation of music. And yeah, so it started from there, a blog. And then what happened after that was, one year we decided to feature all the artists that we had on our blog and do a show. And at the time, we did it with a friend and a colleague of mine. My guy, his name is Danny Life. He had something called a Life Shop, where he was young, like he was like 23, 24, and he had a clothing store, a clothing brand called Life, and a screen printing business in the basement. And in the back, it was a photo studio. And we decided to collab and do this show and highlight these artists. So I would bring these artists that we have on the blog and give them a chance to perform. And at the time, we'd invite some of the connections we had at labels and different writers from different magazines and whatnot, and we'd bring them out. And I just legit remember that feeling of seeing finally meeting these artists in person that I was putting online and get writing articles for, and seeing them perform, and them making connections and networking and coming up to me being, just so thankful that I was able to see them and highlight them.
Yeah.
And that feeling was just priceless. It was like it just gave me life, right? Like I'm somebody that follows my spirit. I
Right.
follow my intuition, and I couldn't ignore that feeling. I could not ignore that feeling. I'm like, okay, whatever this is, I need to keep doing this, and then I need to build a business around this. I wanted to design my career around this feeling of giving creatives and people who look like me,
Yeah.
multicultural individuals, a platform. And
Right.
it started with a showcase series in 2014, still a hobby,
Yeah.
thinking about the business side of things. And then I got introduced to what different agencies out here doing. Like I learned about the Coltrane Curtises at Team Epiphany, and I'm like, wow, I'm like things that I do for fun that I just have a natural, knack for. Brands and companies and organizations, they would pay me and my team to create these experiences, create these events, do creative strategy around the culture. Like we live in the culture, we are the culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're in these streets, going to these art galleries. We know who's the top dope fashion designers and stylists that's coming up. We understand who the authentic voices that are really resonating with communities and the culture, who are emerging and like really putting in the work to evolve to the next level. Like we're in the midst of it. We are the culture. So if you want to come and market to this community, to our people, you got to come to us. You know what I'm saying? So you got to. That's at that point I had the light bulb went off. Like I want to build an agency. I want to be that conduit, that bridge to any of these organizations, corporations, or brands. You guys want to reach this audience. You want to reach this community. You want to tap into this culture. Hire us, work with us, collaborate with us for us to for us to develop those cultural campaign strategies and content, and we'll show you how to create cultural capital for your company, and then see how that affects your bottom line. We'll show you how to develop content that really speaks to this community in an authentic way, how to create events and really add value to the community, not just sell to us, but be able to add value to our community. And that's when, the business started to begin and rise. So from a showcase series, it then developed to panels, conferences, um, art shows, art galleries, and before you know it, the work that we were putting out using our own marketing channels from social media to our newsletter, caught the eye of some brands like HBO and 1800 Liquor and Bel Air and Brooklyn Museum, and they started reaching out, and then we started developing conferences and events on higher levels. And our first we did a multiple of events to get to this point, but our first branded events was when we were hired to produce HBO's Latino Film Festival, and we did that for about 2.5, 3 years, and from then we just completely started to grow. So I'm leaving a lot of stuff, like I'm shorting it for you, but because it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get to that point. It was a lot of investing my own money. Like I said before, this is a creative concept
Right.
where we were doing community events along with developing brand events and experiences and creative strategy. But it all came together when we finally got hired to do that event, and we took off from there.
Yeah, that's amazing. You talk about, the light bulb going off and just more so throughout your career from interviews I've heard, you talk about your purpose. And I know you're proud of being a vessel to kind of help creatives and entrepreneurs be seen and advance in their careers. What do you attribute to having that mindset of kind of taking the back seat and let others shine? It's not really, it's not common in this society, in this generation now. Everybody, wants to be front and center. So what do you attribute to that inkling and that purpose?
Yeah, thank you. Great question. Like I said, I think I learned early when I learned what my purpose is I just learned how to follow my spirit, not to get too spiritual, too deep, but I'm a true believer in following your intuition and finding what aligns with you. And people know what aligns with their soul, with their spirit. Like I said, when I did that first event and I was able to create that platform for artists to perform and creatives to connect and network. um, I paid close attention to the feeling I got through that experience. I paid close attention to how my spirit reacted, and it was just, pure joy. It was a feeling. I think every creative, every dreamer knows that feeling when they get close to it, when they get close to that space that they always wanted to be in. They know that. I think ultimately, I think we, of course, the money, we want the money. It's great. It's a byproduct, but ultimately, I think a lot of us, the dreamers and the creators and the artists, we're chasing that feeling. We're chasing that feeling that only we know. um we know exactly what it is, and only we know how to identify with that feeling. And ever since that moment, I realized, like, if work is required for the rest of our lives, well, they say you're supposed to retire at whatever age, but if we're gonna have to, if I'm gonna have to work the majority of my life, let my work be surrounded by this feeling. Let my work be present in a purpose and something that fills a void inside of me, because I am conscious of my mortality, right? We're only here for an experience. All of us are going to die. I hate to sound morbid, but it's the truth, right? Like, when you're born, you're dying. While I'm here, God has put inside of me that I will be passionate about helping creatives being seen and advancing their careers. And I had the brilliant idea to build a business, an agency, a platform around it.
Right.
And this is what fills that void. This is what makes me want to wake up every morning and go to work. And I wouldn't trade that in for the world. And I think if most of us thought like that, there'd be a lot more happier people.
Yeah.
There'd be less depression, less anxiety. Don't get it twisted. Following that path does come with a
A
whole level of
byproduct.
anxiety and
Right.
pressure and all that, but it's so much more worth it, because
Yeah.
when you get to that feeling, when you get to that joy, it's the closest thing to just, oh man, it's just the
Total
closest
bliss.
thing. There you go, bliss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I figured that out early, and once I was able to get a glimpse, get a taste, I'm like, man, I'm gonna keep creating, I'm gonna keep building, because I want my life to be centered around this feeling. I want my
Yeah.
family life to be centered around everybody doing what they love, because that's when the joy will be and the happiness will be more centered, and you'll be more at centered, more at peace. And once I made that decision, as rough and as crazy as it was, it was no looking back.
Yeah. I love that. When you talk about the feeling. Now, how has evolving personally given you clarity professionally?
Yeah, man, um, evolving personally has given me incredible clarity, because you read a certain amount of books, especially being in a leader position, a founder position, somebody with the vision position, and then people end up relying on you. You end up having to manage people, right? Like, and you end up having essentially most CEOs and founders, we're problem solvers. That's it. We solve problems, and um, we create teams,
Yeah.
and we have to know how to identify the right team. And when you identify the right team, now you have to manage this team, manage your clients, manage your partners. And my personal involvement consisted of everything from me learning how to be at peace with my flaws, me at peace with my shortcomings, me identifying my strengths and
Mhm.
leaning in on my strengths. Me learning how to manage my ego, right? We all have ego, especially as men in the space, learning how to manage your ego, learning when to use your ego, when not to use your ego, and
Mhm.
learning when to step back, learning when to be quiet,
Yeah.
learning when to be quiet and being a listener and being a learner. Um, and just little aspects like that, they go such a long way when it comes to, you know, creating a business and leading your team to success,
Yeah.
because you will be hit with all these challenges. You will be hit with individuals who may not like the way you work, or they may not, they may just throw their anxieties on you, throw their fears on you, and you got to be strong enough to be able to deal with that thing, so continue to push forward.
Yeah.
And another last thing, evolving personally, is also learning how to manage stress, learning how to manage when the anxiety is incredibly high, when you
Yeah.
have to produce at a high level and everybody else is so stressed around you and things go left, things go, things can blow up in front of you and you got to be the one to figure it out. And you have to take that and you have to be responsible with figuring that out and problem solving and troubleshooting through these areas of high intensity and high pressure and evolving personally, reading books like the Malcolm Gladwell and Ryan Holiday and Stoicism has allowed me to be a better leader, has allowed me to work with my team more effectively, have allowed me to choose my team more effectively and continue to grow.
Yeah. That's amazing. Now, a driven society, and and you've seen up close and personal the power of the black dollar. How do we ensure that black businesses are always kept in mind to benefit from that?
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah, it's what it has to be now. It has to almost be like a habit. We have to turn supporting black businesses as something that you know as as common as like when you go to the barbershop, you got your barber, right? Or when
Mhm.
women go to the hairdresser, they may have a certain hairstylist or whatnot, and they will never change. Like I got to go to that person. You know how we are about our barbers. Like once we figure out that this is the guy that's going to line me up and keep me fresh, like you're going to make sure where he's at. You're booking your appointments. It almost have to be second nature like that when it comes to black businesses. And I feel like I feel us getting into that rhythm, and it just has to become a rhythm. Like you're going out to eat, you're going out to breakfast. Okay, well um, Soko is black owned, and over by Myrtle Ave, we know Suede over in Flatbush is black owned. Let's
Yeah.
go get something there, and it's become a rhythm, and it has to be something that is consistently conversed in your group, in your group chat, in your friends, in your tribe. It has to be something that's a consistent conversation
Yeah.
of who you're supporting. Or you're going shopping. Okay, well, this person has a new line. We know Tier is dropping a new line. We know Visionary Society just dropped some new hoodies and some new, Musica Frere just has these suits. Like it has to become a common nature, just second nature
Yeah.
type of a thing between our tribe. And the more we continue to do that, the more we continue to push that, you'll see the rise of the black business. You'll see the rise of the black community. You'll see our dollars shared in our community way longer
Yeah.
for a more extensive period of time and just more black wealth and generational wealth.
Is that something that driven society prioritize to kind of be the leader in getting us into that rhythm?
Absolutely. Another thing, like what I said before, what made us a little bit different because when we speak to these brands and these companies, we tell them like, yo, we also have our own products as an
Mhm.
agency.
Yeah.
We have our own event products. I'm like, really? What do you got? We have our reserve marketplace that we've been doing for 2+ years now.
Mhm.
And we've did it internationally, we've
Right.
did it locally, we've partnered with restaurants, we've partnered with co-working spaces, and we bring black and brown businesses in these spaces to shop, network, meet investors, meet new customers, meet new consumers, get ideas to create new products and whatnot. And we bring our audience in, we invite everybody, we market it, we give them visibility, and the whole goal is for the dollar to be shared within our community. The whole goal is for us to create this ecosystem,
Yeah.
this traveling event series where everybody knows you're there to spend money to support financially,
Yeah.
not just with likes and comments. You're there to support financially because that's how we take care of our families. That's how we build wealth. That's how we build more businesses.
Mhm.
And that's what make other people invest in us when they see us supporting each other. So
Right.
yes, that is a vein in driven society that we want to see black and brown businesses win. We want to see them be successful. We want them to make money. We want people to be able to take care of their families,
Yeah.
and that's essential. That's to our core, and that's something that we do with or without a brand. We find a space, we put the team together,
Yeah.
we start booking our vendors and small businesses, and we've now developed relationships with a lot of these vendors. A lot of them have gone on to do extremely well, open up brick and mortars, and we continue to support, even if we're doing a marketplace, we continue to support just by ordering online. A lot of them have sent messages and letters and just saying, they're grateful for the support and the platform that we've been giving them.
Right. Now you mentioned marketplace, and I know Driven Society, you guys have like three pillars, right? Live events, interactive marketplace, and strategic partnerships. Why did you feel that that was the basis of how to build your business and how to create impact?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the live marketplace, that served for that financial ecosystem for us to financially be able to support and bring those small businesses and the backbone of our community together to be able to support them and invite other people to support.
Right.
And strategic partnerships, because we do believe in the power of collaboration. We collaborate with brands, we collaborate with creatives, and if somebody has a vision, a creative cultural concept that we want to get out, we'll
Yeah.
look for the right partners to make it happen. I thrive off collaboration. I love working with people. That is my special sauce. And from the influencers and creators I work with, it's always about how can we bring our ideas together and let me help you execute.
Right.
And I always feel like the best collaboration will always equal out to an amazing product and an
Right.
amazing result. And then you have the community where we just continue to serve, whether it be through our podcasts, whether it be to our branded events or our agency events that we pull vendors from to work with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a centralized zone. We felt like that system is what's going to lead us to our success because it's authentic and it's true to our core,
Mm.
right? Whatever's real to you, once you put it out to the world, the universe responds. And I truly believe that. And that's how we've been able to ascend in the way we did and work with some of the brands and the partners that we did was because we've always been authentic to our core and the universe has responded just effectively, and I truly believe in that relationship. Once you're doing something that's real, people will respond to it because it's real to you and it'll resonate with them.
Yeah, they see the authenticity. So yeah, it's great that you said that. Now, speaking of partnerships, I know you've had partnership with Hennessy and WeWork, just to name a few. Um, how do you make sure that these are genuine partnerships and it isn't, a diversity trend that some of these businesses might have? Because even if you look at it now, and everyone was supporting Black Lives Matter, but a lot of these big corporations don't even have any, Black board members. Do you want genuine relationships, or is it about just like the dollar?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, even from our latest brands we've worked with, from HBO and Cadillac, how do we make sure that it's a genuine relationship? Is that a lot of our activations that we produce for these clients and brand partners, there's always an aspect that adds value to somebody that looks like us,
Mhm.
that adds value to our community. And it's always themed with a level of enrichment, education, or some level of just cultural, cultural, cultural impact. So for instance, recently we worked with HBO and they dropped a documentary called The Cost of Winning, an amazing documentary about a high school team in Baltimore. And it was phenomenal. And it just shows how this it's in a disadvantaged community, this neighborhood, and this high school football team is thriving, right? And they have coaches from Coach Poggi and all the assistant coaches that help them thrive and support them. And we wanted to do something on the same spirit of that documentary, and we got together individuals to create a podcast series that enriches and informs people on how to get to the next level, on how to thrive off of coming from dark areas and low income and disadvantaged spaces, and how to use that as a strength, as power. So we created a podcast series hosted by Victor Cruz that featured Dapper Dan, that featured Michael Strahan, that featured Dr. Jess, Coach Poggi, and all these individuals spoke on wellness, spoke on resilience, spoke on how to take your power and um, turn it into just impact
Yeah.
and impact where you're improving people's lives, and how to change from a negative to a positive, and the cost of hard work, and the cost of getting to that level, and why you should continue to stay strong and be able to maintain your resilience to get to that next space so you can help the next generation coming behind you.
Right.
And for another example is what we did with Cadillac. We have a yearly annual award show and dinner series.
Right.
In the last 2 years, we partnered with Cadillac, where we're able to highlight and celebrate amazing individuals who are doing phenomenal things. And they're from the community,
Mm.
and we just giving them their flowers now while they can still smell them.
Right.
And they all love the experience. But if you can see, there's a common thread within all of these activations and events is that we're highlighting, celebrating, and giving back to a community, whether that be in a form of information, whether that be in a form of inspiration, or where that even be in a form of actual a financial aspect too. And for this dinner series we're doing, we have people like, Jamira Burley. She's an amazing social impact strategist and activist. And she spoke at the DNC last year, and she's an advocate for social justice and women's rights. We've had John Henry, an entrepreneur. We partnered with him on the first year, and he's phenomenal. He's his businesses has helped so many people, and he's been a great inspiration. And he just started a new business called Loop, and it's helping multiculturals get car insurance at a better rate.
Out in Austin,
And
right? Yeah, I
yep,
follow Tom. He's a dope guy. Yeah.
yep, that's my guy. And we've been doing this for a couple of years now and continue to do this. And we just have that common thread and majority of our work. Yes, we have fun too, and
Yeah.
we turn up when there's times, but the majority of our work, what people know Driven Society for, is being that inspirational extension to the community and bringing people together for positivity and celebration and for impact,
Right.
community and cultural impact.
Yeah, I love that. So driven society, what challenges are you facing pre-COVID, during COVID, and how are you pivoting and combating those challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely through COVID, we went through another pivot. I remember in the beginning of COVID, the first lineup, we were heavily in live events.
Mhm.
And the first line of defense for COVID was, live events. They clipped those quick. You know what I mean? Like before you know it, it was like there couldn't even be gatherings of over 50, which we had so many things going on at that time. We were planning our second year conference in Bermuda that we launched the year before. We had a lot of live events and live activations that were going to happen, and we had to completely re-strategize. And that was a crazy challenge. On okay, since we were centered in bringing the community in person, and even if it was a lot of our events too were intimate, small groups, because that's where we felt like we got the most impact. But we were like, wow, like you know that got that got clipped. What are other ways that we can do to grow and to evolve and pivot and whatnot? And to the grace of God, we were able to strategically start working with some of the creatives in our network and um, developed our talent management and consultancy arm. And now we work with just some amazing creatives and individuals in a long-term capacity and building out partnerships and platforms for these individuals and really growing our talent management arm to feature more creatives and artists. We work with the likes of Kiana Parks, Alex Wolf. These are our partners as well as individuals that we consult and manage and create with. So yeah, that arm grew exponentially. That what we're so excited about because we feel like influencers and creatives and these dynamic individuals with these cultural amazing ideas, they need a different type of representation. And
Yeah.
that's where we come in because we understand how the goals of the corporations and we understand the goals of these creatives, and we come together not only as a management entity, but we're able to creatively strategize a plan for the creative for them to get their dreams out there, get their visions out there. And we're able to do it in a way where they get funded either by a brand or by an organization, And we bring those two worlds together to create more impact. And it's been amazing. And it's exactly what we do, not in a live event space, but it's like, as you can see, it's true to our core, it's true to our authenticity. And that's something I'm very excited about for the growth of Driven Society is our talent management arm and then our content development arm as well too. We signed on a few content projects that I can't speak about now, but if you you can see recently what we did with Cadillac. We dropped an amazing short visual, about 3 minutes, that showed us bringing our community together for our Driven Ones dinner, and it made for a beautiful content piece as well as a live event. And we pretty much merged the world, digital and physical, where
Right.
we were in house with the creatives, the artists, the DJs that provided the ambiance and the sonic vibes for the event, but we brought people together in a virtual way, and we sent dinners to everybody's house. We sent dinners and treats and
Nice.
different ways to participate in a virtual experience. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're being very creative now of how we work with content and how we work with the influencers in our network, but we're very excited about furthering our collaboration with our creative network and continue to build out our talent management arm.
That's amazing that you guys were able to pivot and do that because um, I do want to know for you, someone that's in this space, what does marketing and branding look like post COVID, right? When things start opening up, and we spoke about that new normal. What does that look like from your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Marketing and branding, I think a lot of the fundamentals stay the same, but it has to be in the form of really engaging, emotionally triggering content. Um, the type of content that is going to cut through all the noise that we get on all our social media platforms. And then it's going to have to be a hybrid of really dynamic content with um, really dope, engaging physical aspects too, right? And there's beautiful creative ways of what that looks like together. Just like how we figured out that people will drive cars and come pick you up like for Uber instead of taxis. We're gonna figure out the Uber of this new marketing space, right? And that's what it's gonna look like. Just a hybrid of physical and digital, because digital is not going anywhere. It's here to stay now. Everything will be live streamed. Everything will have a live stream component to it. Everything will have a digital component to it. And the goal is to get really creative around that space and around those and around that aspect, because the fundamentals will stay the same, but now we're going to bring people together in a new, just great way. You'll see technology is going to advance too, like AR and virtual reality will be very present in the new age marketing. So yeah, I just think it's just going to be a hybrid of physical and digital, and doing it in a creative and engaging way. And how you work with creatives is going to have to shift, not just a lot of brands is kind of like, want to create with the post or whatnot. I think the collaboration with the creative is going to have to be deeper. Well, I'm referring to influencer marketing. The collaboration with the creative is going to have to be deeper. It's going to have to be more designed and more designed more thoughtfully. And that's where you'll get the most impact. There's going to have to be a closer relationship on how brands engage influencers to create impact to advertise for them.
Right.
And yeah, I believe that's where will go.
You speak a lot about community. Do you have any doubts or fears that you have to kind of rebuild the community that you had this momentum going? Do you think the community is still there once tomorrow, if you can throw something, you think that community will show up, or do you think now it's uh, going to be difficult to kind of bring people back in?
I wouldn't say difficult is the word. Difficult is the word. I'd say um it's going to be on us to be, I mean, if we're the marketer, it's going to be on us to be creative, to re-engage our community in this new world, and their interests and the spaces that they want to be in, as being older,
Yeah.
going through what we went through and being more evolved. So I don't know if it'll be that'll create a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
But we're excited about that.
Yeah.
We're excited about, figuring out ways on how to re-engage our community in a new way.
Yeah.
We do know that, our heart of our community is there. They reach out to us. They always ask, what's next and whatnot. And we're conceptualizing and building out some really dope things this summer. A lot of the stuff that, we're gonna do is gonna be some really intimate and high level experience type of events and experiences. But we feel excited about re-engaging the community and continuing to, create creative and cultural experiences for them to enjoy and come meet us and build with us. Fortunately for us, um, we a lot of them are our friends and associates and colleagues
Yeah.
that we've built with over for years. So we always establish that we want to create a lifetime relationship. That's why we create staples
Yeah.
rather than one-off events. This is why we have our Inspire Con series that we do in Bermuda. That we have our reserve marketplace that we've done internationally in Harlem, also
Yeah.
in New York and Brooklyn, and we have staples because we just something that we want to continue to do for years to come.
Right. That's awesome. Now, spoken like a true CEO, right? The problem solving is there. What advice would you give for other entrepreneurs who saw that, their momentum kind of took a detour, or,
Mhm.
their careers and their things that they've been creating because of COVID? Like, what advice would you give them to kind of pivot, revamp, and just kind of continue?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they definitely gonna have to creative. I'll get creative. I'd say take what you were doing before
Mhm.
and figure out the most interactive way you can do it digitally. Um, and figure out how you can add a physical component to it now that the world is coming back.
Yeah.
You know, um, Figure out how to create engagement with your community that can come with a private chat or a exclusive marketing channel towards them. Develop those mechanisms. You should be doing that now. You should have been doing that through COVID,
Yeah.
where you're developing a marketing mechanism that connects directly to your audience, not anybody on the outside, not just Instagram. So it could either be a newsletter, it could be a podcast, it could be a Patreon, it could be, there's so many different, it could be
Yeah.
a Twitch channel. There's so many different avenues now, so much different technology now to be engaged with. So figure out that mechanism that connects directly with your audience and figure out how to add a physical component to it. That could be like, a side little pop-up shop where
Yeah.
everybody comes safe, or an art gallery where you have to social distance, where you can continue to connect with your audience, or whatever your business is.
Right.
There's so many ways of how to carrying that business age into this modern age. Maybe it takes collaborating with, an influencer or a creative or a voice that is in your sector, that's in your field, that can speak to your audience in a way to keep them continuously engaged.
Right.
Maybe it's, creating a whole new, vertical of series or a product line that, a product that's still in the same vein of your company that you can sell to your audience that
Yeah.
they engage with or, be connected to. So definitely get creative, definitely look for all the new technology that's at our disposal to create that marketing channel effective.
That was great advice. Taking notes, taking mental notes.
So,
But lastly, what's next for Driven Society?
man, great question. So our talent, expanding our talent management and consulting firm. We're really excited about that. We work with some amazing dynamic creatives.
Yeah.
That's going to be something I'm super excited to continue to build and create partnerships with. And secondly, our content division firm. We're going to be creating content that really inspires the creative community, that really speaks on the creative economy, that provides tools and resources to get people to the next level, to
Right.
get people to realize their dreams and their visions. And you're going to see a lot more of that, a lot more content-based projects, and a lot more projects where you see us working exclusively with really dope creatives and creators. And those going to be our really strong points in the next coming years. And from there, from that platform, you're going to see products, you're going to see more intimate and exclusive experiences, and more agency work that, we just continue to just provide cultural and community impact.
It's amazing. Well, listen, it was great chatting with you. I
Oh
don't,
man,
again,
great.
I can sit here and talk to for 2, 3 hours, so I gotta always constrain myself. But thanks again for taking the time out, and yeah, congratulations. Good luck with everything, and we'll be hearing from you.
Brother, thank you, man.
All right.
I really love the platform. It's just you guys are really building. It's just a really dope platform for men, for the community, and I champion you guys. And thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much. Talk soon.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace.